You're gone. Where are you? Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, and I just want to point out that it is Bell Let's Talk Day. So if you are out there, you are on Twitter, make sure that you retweet the hashtag Bell Let's Talk. I would like to thank Evolutionize, my sponsor today. They are Alberta's premier. Oh, Dave, there we are. They are Alberta's premier mobile optometry clinic. So thank you very much to Evolutionize for your sponsorship. And today's Telling It Like It Is guest is Dave Bradley, founder of Bull Bitcoin. Dave, thanks for joining me. And how are you today?
Good.
Well, that is good. I see we're having a little chat out there. You are in, I guess we'd like to call it sunny Vancouver, but it's not very sunny out there.
No, it's pouring rain.
I did like the idea where you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it out on the deck and we have a nice backdrop," but I guess that got ixnayed.
Yeah.
So, what we'll do here is we'll get right into a little introduction about Dave, and we will start our discussion. So, Dave Bradley, co-founder of Bull Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin-only exchange for Canadians. Dave is a pioneer in the Bitcoin world and one of the most knowledgeable experts on cryptocurrency. So, Dave, you and I met through the Alberta Blockchain Consortium and developed a very good relationship, and we actually worked together. Nicolea was kind of taking over the ABC, and then you guys decided to join ventures. It's about a year since ABC has launched, and it has really grown an international player in the blockchain world. So please share how this started and how it's evolving.
Yeah, it kind of came about after Kalei and I were working on some events. We put on a couple large conferences every year. We put one on last March in Edmonton, and sort of following up on the momentum that we had out of that event, someone had asked Kalei to take over the Alberta Blockchain Consortium, which was a nonprofit founded a few years earlier by one of her mentors named Suzanne West. And when she was asked to take that over, based on the fact that we were working on so closely on all of these events, it was kind of a natural fit for me to get involved.
No, and I mean, and again, that's how we met. And now you've put on events all over, Edmonton and obviously in Calgary, where both you and I are based out of. But we also have another huge event coming up here, April 15th, 16th in Edmonton, the Alberta Technology Symposium. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty excited for this event to have Rex Murphy as a keynote speaker. The purpose of the event is to promote the technology ecosystem in Alberta. And we think that Rex Murphy is a very rational and level-headed voice, which is rare these days for not just our tech sector, but our energy sector. That's so important in Alberta. So we're very excited to have him. We think that's going to be pretty important, but we've got a really good cast of speakers coming in from all over Canada. And we're going to be basically looking at the different business use cases for lots of technology, from blockchain to IoT to machine learning, and how those things will actually affect our economy.
No, absolutely. And I know I see the early bird sales are on right now, and it's a great, it's a 2-day event. Again, the early bird is $299 for both nights. That includes access to all the speakers. There will be government officials there, and that includes some of your food in the evenings as well. So it's a great event, and as you said, it's going to be outstanding. I will post the link to the Alberta Technology Symposiums in the comments section. So once you do have any interest, just click on it there, and away we go. So, that being said, obviously blockchain is a big part of cryptocurrency, and you have an impressive entrepreneurial background, but I wanted to focus more on the Bull Bitcoin side. When did you first have interest in Bitcoin, and please share the Bitcoin story?
Yeah, I got into Bitcoin first, mining Bitcoins in my basement in 2010, so quite a while ago at this point. We founded what was Alberta's first blockchain business, also Alberta's first Bitcoin business, called Bitcoin Brains in 2013, and then that's what later turned into Bull Bitcoin.
And now Bull Bitcoin, how is it? Has Bull Bitcoin stayed the same? Have you guys evolutionized it at all? Is it, how you focus? How come it's a Canadian only focused company?
Yeah, I mean, we're focused very specifically on the Canadian market because one of the hardest things about running a Bitcoin business is handling the Canadian dollar, the fiat side of the payments. And so, because we've got the banking relationships and we've got a stable business running on that side of things, we haven't pushed to expand anything outside of Canada. We have had a lot of interest. We've got a pretty good social media following, and about 90% of our following is from outside of Canada. And so, that it would be great in terms of exposure if we were to expand beyond Canada, but operationally, selling Bitcoin in Canada is hard enough. So going to a whole bunch of different countries would be a whole other can of worms.
So I guess would your banking relationships change if you wanted to, revamp your business plan and say go globally, or even just open up into the North American market?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was saying, the most challenging part with Bitcoin, because it is an irreversible payment anytime you send Bitcoin, if you're taking Canadian dollars in payment for your Bitcoin, you're kind of exposing yourself to fraud. So that's sort of where the start of the banking troubles come in. And, you start to take international payments, you start to move money across borders, and it just becomes a whole lot more complicated than sticking within one country. So we've chosen to just sort of keep it simple and stick to our bread and butter. And we also pretty patriotic. We want to be like our tagline is we're Canada's Bitcoin company. So we don't really see the need to compete globally at this point because there's still so much market in Canada here.
So, you saying that, I mean, people, especially maybe in my group, a lot of people are like, oh, you're involved in blockchain. Oh, do you have any Bitcoin? And it's like, why do you have Bitcoin? Where can you spend it? Why? What are use of it? I mean, it's not something that, I really use. I have some and some other forms of the digital currency as well, but it's not something that I use. So why should people, start investing in Bitcoin?
I wouldn't look at it as investing.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is money. It's a new form of money that exists outside of the state, outside of any government. And the whole point of money is to take the value that you create with your time. You do some work for someone, you create value there, you get remunerated for that. But what you want to do is you want to store that value over time so that you can use it again later. Otherwise, we'd all be better off just using a barter system, using our skills to pay for things directly. But the point of money is that intermediary step, and dollars do a really terrible job of storing the value that you've created. And so Bitcoin is, because, like I mentioned, there is no issuing body. It's not issued by a government or the state. There's no one who can just print more. So there's no way to have your Bitcoin holdings diluted by a whole bunch of new units being printed. And so that's sort of the core value proposition is you're not really investing in something, you're just storing your value. And that's basically the core value proposition to Bitcoin.
No, and I mean, and that makes sense. And obviously, I used the wrong word. I guess some people, I imagine, used it as an investment if I guess they got in early enough. But
yeah,
I in the last almost year that you and I have been friends. I mean, you are probably the most knowledgeable person I know, if not in the world, on cryptocurrency. So. And it's a topic that people know very little about. So please share your thoughts on the different kinds of cryptocurrency out there, and maybe explain some of the benefits and downfalls of them.
Yeah, I mean, most of the sort of quote unquote cryptocurrency that's out there is somewhere between a bad idea and a scam. So, like I mentioned, Bitcoin is money, and we only really need one kind of money. We don't need a separate kind of money for every different store we're going to shop at. There's a reason there's really only, there's only one Canadian dollar that we all use across Canada, because we all want to think in that same unit of account, right? And so there's a whole bunch of cryptocurrencies that are essentially trying to compete for the job of being money with Bitcoin. Those would be ones like Litecoin and Monero and sort of these payment focused coins. We only need one. And right now it looks like it's going to be Bitcoin. None of the other ones are very particularly close in terms of usefulness as money. Now, the next big chunk is a chunk that they call, the issuers, I guess, call utility tokens, which that these people for services that they intended to build. And so that it's kind of a nonsense concept, in my opinion, where you had all these people raising millions of dollars saying, I'm going to build this really cool thing. And in order to use it, you're going to need to buy this token that we are going to keep the money from selling. So those bring in a lot of legal questions. Are they an investment offering? Are they a security? Do the issuers need to register as a securities broker? And regulators are only kind of starting to answer those questions at this point. But the bigger problem is that the value that these things purported to bring as an investment were never really based on anything. Even if they make the cool sounding products that they say they intend to make, that doesn't necessarily mean that the coin that they're selling is going to go up in value. There's no rights. Like you buy a share in a company and you have a right to a percentage ownership of that company. Whereas with these coins, all you're really doing is buying a worse form of money that can only be used on something that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, that is interesting. That wouldn't be a very good place to have your money. And I know I'm talking here with Dave Bradley, the co-founder of Bull Bitcoin. You can see that their website is on the bottom of the screen there, but you can also click on it in the comment section. They have a great FAQ section on their website. But speaking of that, I just kind of want to focus on just maybe Calgary a little bit. I mean, if people want to learn more about cryptocurrency, they can go to your website. I'm sure they would somehow be able to get in touch with you or ask questions here and it'll get answered. But, please share some of maybe the meetups or drop-ins or some places that actually accept Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a monthly event that the Alberta Blockchain Consortium does. It tends to be more focused on sort of the industrial and business use cases of blockchain, but there are cryptocurrency topics in there from time to time. That event tends to be a really good place to go just to meet the people involved in the community, because most of the people that have been in the space for a while come out for that event, and it's a good networking opportunity. So those are on our website at albertablockchain.com. The other option, there is a weekly Bitcoin meetup. Some guys run. It's usually fairly small, like 5 to 10 people, and it ends up at a bar or a coffee shop or something like that. But you get some of the really knowledgeable people in the space coming out to that, and it's a great place to just sort of like go and chat about this stuff and learn from people who've been doing it for a while.
Are you seeing more and more people, whether it be in Calgary or even on your platform, accepting Bitcoin as a currency?
There's been over the years a lot of times where there's been a push to sort of grow what you call merchant adoption. We had in 2014, we had about 60 businesses in Calgary all accepting Bitcoin, and nobody but me was really spending any. It was, me buying coffees and beers, and everyone else wanted to hold their Bitcoin, which turned out to be a much smarter idea than paying for coffees and beers, right? So it's not super useful as like a competitor to Interac or Visa, for example, because those technologies work really well. The payment rails are very fast and reliable, and that's not a huge benefit. So where Bitcoin as a payment method becomes useful is where you have some question about immutability or censorship resistance. And so if you need a payment to be completed and you need to make sure that there's no way that that payment is ever going to be reversed, especially across borders, especially around the world, Bitcoin can be very, very useful. But so far, like it's not a massive consumer tool for everyday payments.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, and I agree. I mean, I go around and I know there's one at a Waves coffee shop, and as you said, and stuff like that. So I know you're seeing more. I know Matador Jason there. He accepts it at his restaurant. So I know there are places out there, and you can get it. I did also put the Alberta Blockchain website up there. So if you do want to check out any events, we have one coming up here, I believe Thursday, February 6th is the next one. So you can just sign up for that right at the website. So again, I'm talking with Dave Bradley, the co-founder of Bull Bitcoin. So I guess let's talk a little bit about where Bull Bitcoin is going to go. So what is next for you guys?
I mean, we're growing pretty aggressively. We're adding customers. We're adding features. We just added a dollar cost averaging feature. That's a big benefit potentially to our clients. That allows someone to essentially pre-fund their account and then set it up so it just buys them a small amount of Bitcoin every day. So that's a very effective way to get into Bitcoin without having to try to worry about the price fluctuations. You're just getting the average over a period of time. So we've got a lot of stuff like that on the roadmap, and that's sort of the direction that we're going. Is just more software, more technology, and more ways for our users to get in and out of Bitcoin.
That's an interesting concept. So does it matter the dollar amount that a person would have to put into that to do the daily?
No, it can be $1. Bitcoin is divisible to 8 decimal places, so it's very easy to split it up into very small chunks.
That's interesting. If you want any more information, go to bullbitcoin.com or click on the website and the link. So I guess my last question here, Dave, is, I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for a while and had a different, been invested in different businesses. So if you had one piece of advice for a small business, a startup, or an entrepreneur, what would that be?
Well, you can't really replace the value of hard work and hustle. No matter how good your idea is, no matter how smart you are or think you are, the guy who gets up early in the morning and gets to work and gets things done is always going to be ahead, even if they don't have any of the other advantages. So that's sort of the number one thing that I've learned being an entrepreneur for many years is like, you just got to get up in the morning and get things done.
It doesn't matter if you're wearing a nice clothes or if I'm in my pajamas doing this interview. I'm up, I'm at 'em, and that's that's the exact advice. I mean, people said, "Oh, you were lucky to do that," and I always say, you know what? I worked hard to be lucky, and luck finds people that are working hard. So I love that piece of advice. So again, I would like to thank Dave Bradley, the co-founder of Bull Bitcoin. Their website is in the comment section. Please check on it. You can go to their website. You can go to the Alberta Blockchain website to learn about the Alberta Technology Symposium that's coming up in Edmonton. It's a 2-day event. The early bird pricing ends, I guess, on Friday, January 31st. So you save $100. And again, thank you very much, Dave, for joining me today. And I hope your meetings go well in Vancouver.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. I hope to see everybody next week, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.